Hello everyone, welcome to Consistent Profits, and on this installment I will be showing you a forecast on GBPUSD, EURUSD and the dollar index. This forecast is based on the 3rd to the 7th of July. Today it's Saturday, the 1st of July, and this forecast is for the week following. Before we dive into the forecast, I just want to remind you that these ideas, the ideas that are shared on this channel, are not necessarily for you to go into the markets and begin to trade the markets with your real money. However, you can practice these ideas on your demo account, and once you have found consistency, and again based on your own discretion, you will then decide to trade with your real money. However, without wasting time, I would like to begin with the analysis of the dollar index. We are on a weekly chart, and we can see that the week that just closed, this candle over here, it was more to the upside, even though we had some slight, bearish momentum in the beginning of the week, and then later on the market went bullish, and then as you can see, Friday, or maybe towards the close of the week, it began a momentum to the downside. All right, so generally we can see how price have been bullish since the week of the 7th of July, the beginning of the week of the 7th of July. Price have been very much bullish to the upside, all the way to this high, and after that it went down, leaving a gap over here, another gap over here, and traded into what is known as an order block. So this was the down candle ahead of this bullish move, and price traded into it, and like 3 weeks ago, and then it has began a bullish momentum. All right, so with this delineated or put out there, you can already anticipate that if the momentum continues to the bullish side, which is most likely at this stage when I look at this chart, it is to ultimately to come to this high over here. However, next week we can see how this high that was created last week, this week obviously, that this high will be the one that is anticipated, or rather that we anticipate price to trade in, to take it out and continue momentum to the bullish side, and trade maybe a little bit above this high as well, and then probably into the gap later in the week or weeks to come, and ultimately in the future to trade up here. That's the scenario of the bullish side. But if price decides to go bearish, of course we will anticipate price to come take this low over here, and then ultimately the lows below here if the bearish momentum continues. However, without wasting time, I'm going to jump into the daily time frame. And on the daily time frame, which is something that I can say I actually missed last week, was to understand that actually the dollar index was in a bullish profile because of this break of structure that we see with this candle, June the 23rd candle. You can see it broke structure and it solidified the bullish momentum. So price came and traded into this bearish candle, which is an order block, and then began to trade higher. With that having been said, you can see that price also went high, and the high, as it went high on Friday, it went below again, traded into this tiny fair value gap that you see over here in gray shade, and then it began to reject. So what I'm anticipating with the bullish side is for price on Monday to maybe go lower and maybe rally from over here and into this high, and ultimately into this high that is drawn out over here, which is both of these highs will be the targets, the easiest targets if the momentum is bullish, continuing to the bullish side. This will be the first target of next week for price to come over here and then eventually over here. However, if that doesn't transpire, we will see price trade into this low and maybe begin to create a bearish profile that will allow it to trade to this low over here and ultimately to the lows that we saw on the weekly chart over here. So that will be the bearish side. But looking at the dollar index, it's pretty much bullish, so we will anticipate the bullish momentum next week. And because the profile currently, looking at it, it's pretty much very bullish. And remember guys, in as much as this may be bullish, it doesn't mean that you can't take opportunities to the downside. However, the more clear cut, crystal clear setups will be the bearish ones. So for me, this market, I see it trading into this high next week, and then maybe dip into this one over here as well. At least the easiest target will be this, and then maybe during the week I will also give you another review on how do I see the dollar index. Without wasting time, that allows me now to jump into GBPUSD and see how is this one panning out. With this one, you can see the weekly chart is pretty much bullish, very much bullish. It shows that price is intending to go bullish maybe in weeks to come or maybe months to come. However, what I see when I zoom in a bit is that there is a fair value gap here, an imbalance. You know what I mean? An imbalance is caused by this bullish momentum to the upside without any wicks in between, meaning that there was only bias in this candle, and there is no sign of sales at all. So there's an imbalance that the market will want to come down into that level and rebalance. It has done majority of it. However, there is still a tiny gap that is still left to reach to the high of this candle. As you can see, the high of this candle is at 1.25894, and then the low of this candle over here, it is at 1.25902, which means there is probably a pip less for this this move didn't trade to. So therefore it leaves a small portion of a gap below this week, which I think price can easily go down and close it and begin to rally up, as we can see this market to be very much bullish. But I look at this market and I see how price can trade low into this level. This level will be the target for me next week. And then if that doesn't take place, obviously, and the price continues to the bullish side, then I will target this level. This level will be the next target according to the weekly chart. But without wasting time, I'm quickly going down to the daily chart. And with the daily chart, I see how price, it has been bearish last week, and it created, this was a institutional break of structure, which I will admit I missed it. I thought that the bullish momentum was still valid. However, I could have noticed once this institutional break of structure was there that actually we are now beginning to be in the bearish momentum, provided that also the dollar index was already on a bullish move. So obviously these two markets, the dollar index and the GBPUSD, are inversely correlated. So when the other one goes up, the other one typically goes down. So now with that put out there, I can see after that was created, there was a bit of an up move into this order block over here, and then price began to break structure to the low. It managed to do that smoothly, and this level would have been the easiest target last week. It was the easiest target to trade into, this level here below this bearish candle. And then price continued to trade into the fair value gap. And now what I saw was that Thursday rejected, Friday continued to the upside, and then it has traded into what I call a bearish order block after this bearish break of structure was created. What I'm looking for is for price maybe to go a little bit higher, retest again further the bodies of this order block, and then go down. This level over here is the easiest target that I will be looking for. Not easy like that, but I mean the simplest target that I will be seeking, and then maybe price will continue ultimately into this low over here if it doesn't go all the way to these ones here. But this level can be reached in weeks to come. I don't think it's likely for them to trade into those lower levels next week. It might happen gradually in the weeks to come as the bearish momentum continues. You know what I mean? However, if price begins to break structure to the upside, then we know for sure that the profile has turned again to bullish, and we will be targeting these levels above here. So that's it for this GBP forecast. I'm going to quickly go into EURUSD. When you look at EURUSD, what you see is that on the weekly chart, you can see that we had the idea of bullish momentum happening last week. It did, but it was just to a certain degree, and then it went lower into this fair value gap, an imbalance, just like we saw an imbalance on GBPUSD. So price went and dipped into the imbalance over the course of the week. It began to the upside, went lower, and then it closed on Friday with a bullish daily candle. So what I see here is that it's pretty much still bullish, or rather it's pretty much still bullish, and if the bullish continues in the weeks to come, maybe after closing this fair value gap entirely, we will see price rally to this level. However, if that doesn't occur, and at the moment what I'm looking for is for price to trade next week into at least this low over here of the very low of last week. I mean the week that just ended now, and then really crash into it, and then probably go all the way to this level and close this gap, and then maybe the profile might change to bullish, and begin to seek liquidity that is on the upside and ultimately reach into this. Like I said, that will be for weeks to come. However, for the week that's coming, I'm looking for price to trade below this low over here, and then ultimately maybe close this whole entire imbalance that we are seeing here. Awesome. Without wasting time, I'm jumping into the daily chart. The daily chart, I'm looking at price. It has already created this institutional break of structure. It went up, which is something that I missed last week because I was holding onto a long profile, like bullish profile. I did benefit to a certain degree with that, and then price began to crash down because I missed this break of structure. However, I can see that the market also created another institutional break of structure and also took out this liquidity. Looking at that, I can see how price can, simply come trade at least to this level next week, and then eventually trade below this one over here. So the initial target will be for us to see if price will come to this level, and then eventually this, and ultimately to close the entirety of this gap. So we will see how the market plays out if it continues with this bearish momentum that is there at the moment. That's what we are seeking. We are seeking this level over here, this below these bodies here of these candles, and then this will be the next target, and then ultimately I'm looking to see if price can rebalance that whole imbalance that we saw on the weekly chart. And as you can see, it means that price will be trading into a former high, which is technically a breaker, or rather a mitigate. Let me have a look at it. It's actually a breaker that was once created over here, that price will be coming and mitigating, at least if it is going to become now bullish again. However, if the momentum continues to the bearish side, if after reaching this level, we will seek for lower prices over here, and ultimately below here. So remember that this is a forecast of what we are expecting next week. However, we're also going to align ourselves with the current market events, market conditions. So we do not remain static and say, oh, this is the idea and that's it. But if we begin to see change in profile, a change in sentiment of the market, we adjust ourselves accordingly. Without wasting time, please like, comment, subscribe, put up a notification bell so that you do not miss out on the next videos that I will be putting out in this channel. Also, man, let me know down below the kind of videos that you would like to see me record on this channel, that maybe ideas that you would like me to share or speak on, so that you can grow in your trading and become a better trader. Without wasting time, I thank you very much. See you on the next one.